Yes.
Hey guys, this is a snapshot. Some is on the phone, on the camera. I had a little problem yesterday. Last night, messed around and filled up the breaker and wound up kicking the breaker. But the problem is it won't reset now. So I think I burned out the breaker, or the breaker died on me. This is a double pole breaker here. If you can see it, you have a 15 amp on top, 15 amp on bottom. This runs half of the outlets. This runs the other half of the outlets. But what's happening, the one on the top is working, but the one on the bottom, every time even when I reset it, I'm still not getting no power. So what I'm going to do to make sure that the breaker is bad, I'm going to take the connection from the top, put it on the bottom, see if it works. If that works, I know the breaker is bad. I can replace the breaker. If that don't work, I got a problem somewhere else. I'll wait till I get home and I got to troubleshoot the whole thing. All right. But with this here, most of your breaker boxes and your electric boxes will look the same. You have breakers on one side and you have the fuses on the other side. The breakers are your AC system, which is your refrigerator, microwave, TV, and then over here you have your DC system, which runs off your batteries, and your converter and different things runs off your batteries. I killed all power coming to the camper, so I killed the AC power and the power coming from the batteries. So in order to do what I got to do, now like I said, I'm no electrician. I'm not telling nobody to do this. This is something that I mess around with electric and stuff. I feel a little comfortable doing what I'm doing to check and see if I can replace a breaker. Because if it's only the breaker, I can pick up a breaker and replace it myself. But again, I'm not advising anybody to do this. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. Okay. So right now we're going to take off the main panel.
Yeah, I can take that part out.
Now, if you see here, you see all the wires going to the breaker here, all the wires going to the fuse here. Now, the one that's giving me the problem is this breaker here. Now you can see there's two switches here. You got one, two. That's what they call a double pole breaker. All right. So what I'm going to do is take the breaker out. Soon, Risa get out my face. And here, you see the way they got it. They got wire going into the one, wire going into the other. What I'm going to do, I'm going to switch these two wires, and then I'm going to test it and see if they work.
I hope you all are enjoying this how-to video from Snapshot. And don't forget now to hit that subscribe button for those who are not already subscribed. And for those who are, just check to make sure you are still subscribed.
Then guys, we switched the wirings around. So we're going to put them back in. If you look down here, you see a pole here. That's the electric pole. So it's got to go in here, snap into the pole. These are your ground, these are your hots.
Okay.
All right, so we got to get up under here. All right, this is the big test and let us know if it's the breaker or if it's something else. So first thing I want to do, this is the one we've been having problems with. I'm going to cut that on first.
Something happened.
Turned on for a second. Is the pump on? Turn that pump on. Turn it off.
Just down.
It's off now.
Okay. So kicked in for a second. Okay, guys, we're thinking. Checked it out a little bit. We think it's the breaker. So yeah, we're gonna wind up switching the breaker and see what that happened. That's the quickest and the best of all evil. Because if it's not the breaker, that means I got to start tracing wires. I got to start looking at sockets and stuff like that, outlets. So guys, be careful and be realistic. On your RV, you basically have your microwave, the air conditioner. What is that? That's the GFI.
And micro, general, micro.
Micro, whatever micro is. And
I guess microwave, like you said.
Yeah, in general. What is that one up
Main.
there? And your main breaker. So on that double pole 15, you're basically running all of your outlets off of those two things. So you got to be careful. You get to the point, you have all these outlets, you got the adapter where you can add more to it, and that's what I did. I got a little crazy last night, wasn't thinking, plugged all the stuff in, and she kicked. Two things. When your breaker kicks, the smart thing to do is to unplug stuff to that breaker. So when you reset that breaker, the breaker is starting fresh, and then plug your stuff up. That'll keep this from happening. What I did, just not thinking, just hit the breaker. All that stuff was still connected, and I think it killed the breaker. So when we're putting it back on, we'll let you know and let you see us connecting it back. It's pretty easy to do. Just pay attention to what you're doing. Make sure all the power is off. It's 30 amps. It can kill you. So you make sure all your power off. That's the best thing to do when you're messing with electricity. Make sure you ain't got no power. That way, if you make a mistake, you won't kill yourself. All right, this is a snapshot. Get back to you later and let you know how it works out. Hey guys, this is a snapshot. Some reaches on the camera. I'm just giving you a little update. I had lost power in the rig to basically all the sockets. What they did, they had all the sockets in the rig, plus the converter and the refrigerator, all on a 15 amp breaker. And I wasn't paying attention, hooked up some stuff. It knocked the breaker out. Every time we tried to reset the breaker, still wasn't getting no power. So after I dug into it and took it apart, thought it was the break at one point, but then we wound up separating the different wires, because even though they had different wires, half was on the breaker, half of the socket was on one wire, the other half was on the other wire, and the converter was separate. So what I did, I separated the wires, ran them to the breaker. Sure enough, socket came on, breaker is good. Tried the other group of sockets, came on, it was good. Tried the converter, wouldn't work. So I figured it was the converter. So we broke it down. I put the two other sockets, wiring into the breaker, had all my sockets running. Then I said, you know what? I don't like the way they got this load. So I went out and bought another breaker, double pole breaker, 15 amp. Put a group of the sockets on one, put another group of the sockets on the other. Now I ain't got to worry about kicking it with the little, the stuff that we use, like we use an electric heater when it's not real cold, or we have our little portable freezer, we have our jackery. Ain't got to worry about blowing sockets. Funny part is, once I did that, I decided I had extra breaker. So I said, let me try running the converter on that breaker. Sure enough, it started working. So I'm a little confused. Like I said in the beginning, I am not an electrician. I dabble with different things, and I'm a kind of person, if it's broke, I'm going to try to fix it first. And I'm letting you know some of the things that I ran into. So if any of you guys got any idea why that happened, let me know. But right now, I got my sockets. Half of my sockets on one breaker, the other half is on the other breaker, which is 3 and 4. And also got the converter on his own individual breaker. Guess what? They are all running perfect. And while you're down there checking that stuff out, take your screwdriver and tighten all of your breakers. Make sure all your power's off. The shore power and the power to your battery. Cut them all off. That way you ain't got to worry about making no mistakes. You ain't got to worry about touching no wire. You're good to go. And while you're down there, take your screwdriver and you tighten all the screws that holds in your breakers, your wires to your breakers, your wires to your ground, your wires to your fuses. I'm going to make it a habit to do that every year before season starts, just to make sure. That's going to be part of my maintenance habit. And it's a good thing if you use that too. So again, I'll keep you posted, but if your guys got any comments, you electricians out there or your handyman out there, give me an idea of why that thing, when it was all connected together, kept kicking the breaker. Then when we separated, everything's working fine. Well, I want to hear from you. This is Snapshot.
And Teresa.
Talk to you later. See you on the road.